Hi, welcome to Promo Insiders, an ASI media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Chris Ruvo for ASI, and today we're going to jump into a family story that's 4 generations in the making. Joining me are Mitch and Brad Kaeser. The brothers were just named co-CEOs of top 40 distributor Kaeser and Blair. That's impressive in its own right, but what makes it even more so is that Mitch and Brad are the 4th generation of Kaesers to lead the Ohio headquartered firm. It's an awesome feat by any measure, perhaps even more so nowadays in an era of consolidation across industries. Mitch and Brad are here to talk about everything from the future of their family company and the promotional products industry to what it takes to have a successful family business. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This is an honor.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're very excited for this. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you bet. So like we were chatting before we started recording and just saying that the 4th generation really is an impressive thing. To have something passed down now about 100 years, I think, from when your family first became involved. So I'm just kind of interested from a human perspective. I mean, you guys are businessmen, but you're human beings too. What does it feel like to be the 4th generation of family leadership at K&B?
Yeah, I mean, to become like the fourth generation of leadership at Kaeser and Blair, it's amazing but wild all at the same time for me. I mean, we have some massive shoes to fill over there. We've learned from the greats, like our grandfather and dad. And, I think they've set us up for success, but it's also wild. Like Kaeser and Blair belongs to part of an organization here in Cincinnati, and they like help have resources for family companies, and we sometimes see those. We learned along the way that they sometimes see those die out between the second and third generation. So to make it to the fourth generation, I think is crazy wild to me. So yeah.
Fun stuff. How about you, Brad?
Well, I feel honored, humbled, excited. It's such an awesome experience to just be in this position and for the people around us to trust us in this position. So it's very exciting. I think just I'm overwhelmed in a really positive, good way. So yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Cool. And now, of course, you mentioned some of the being mentored by father, grandfather. Your father, Kurt, of course. I don't think anyone who works in this industry doesn't know him. He's on our Power 50 list of the most influential people in the industry. He's been a CEO, I believe, since about the mid '90s. So it is big shoes to fill. But he's not totally removing himself from the company, right? He's going to continue in a chairman's role. Is that? Can you maybe tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so he's going to be in a chairman role. He's still heavily involved in day-to-day operations, making big time decisions with Kaeser and Blair. So he is right down the hall, right next door to Mitch and I. So he is still very much involved, still going to be with us and helping us guide us. Like Mitch mentioned, having those big shoes to fill. Mitch and I are very confident about where we're heading in the future, but there's still so much experience that our father Kurt has, and so he's still sticking around whether he wants to or not. So to help guide us.
Okay, so it's interesting because it is a whole new era, but there is continuity that goes along with that too. So that's pretty cool to see. You mentioned you're confident about the next era, and I think that's interesting. I'm curious as co-CEOs, how do you see yourselves working together, and kind of what strengths do you each bring to kind of build that next generation of success there?
Yeah,
Either
I mean, yeah, I
jump
mean, so
in, Mitch.
Brad and I obviously grew up together, and like normal siblings, we bickered and everything. But through the years, we've grown together, and we've like grown to actually like each other. And like he's like my best friend, and I'm his, and I helped I was his. I married him and his wife, so like we're very like cohesive together now, and we're a really strong team. Brad has a background in business and marketing, and I like to say I have a degree in finger painting / graphic design. So, and a background in planning events. So I'm kind of the people person. Brad's the tech savvy business analytics type of guy, and so I think it's a perfect mesh of who we are, and we have our own strengths in there. So, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
How about you, Brad? Anything to add to that?
Well, I couldn't agree more with what Mitch is saying there. what I would add is that our differences and the fact that we know what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are individually, it allows us to bounce things off of each other really well and get
Hmm.
some different perspectives. So there might be something that comes up where I'm like, I'm really passionate about this. Hey, Mitch, what do you think about this? And you might be like, yeah, I know you're really passionate about it, but look at it from this way. And then it's like, oh, that's a good idea. I should look at it from this other way. So I think it's really nice to be able to bounce things off of each other like that, and we don't take things as like personal attacks when we're like,
Hmm.
no, that's a really bad idea. So we work well together. It's great.
So, and I imagine too, having, just talking with you guys, that, you really do get the sense that this is not a sibling rivalry kind of thing. It's not like somebody's trying to outmaneuver the other, that there's actually real trust there. And that's got to be invaluable because, you don't feel like you're exposing yourself or making yourself vulnerable in a corporate. You could be really honest and genuinely bounce ideas like that, as you say, off each other. So I imagine that that's a real advantage.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
huge advantage.
definitely. Like Brad said, there's definitely like things he comes to me for and I come to him for, and you have to calm each other down or raise each other up in different situations. So I think we're very good at that.
Awesome. So thinking, it's great. You guys are working together. It's a family business, but it is a business, right? So you got to make money. You got to grow. And our marketplace is always been competitive, but I think you can make an argument it's maybe the most competitive it's ever been, with some of the larger players that are in it, the different business models that exist out there to try to have success selling merch. There's a lot going on. So I'm just curious, what are some of the things that you're excited about to work on at K&B to kind of make the distributorship not only competitive, but to even grow at a quicker rate as time goes on.
Mitch, I'll let
Brad,
you go first on this one.
you want me to go first? All right.
Yeah.
Well, so like I said, we've got big shoes to fill, and we have that like great handoff from our father. But we want to run the company with integrity and honesty, just the way it's been ran the whole entire time. With that being said, we do have great incentives to work with Kaeser and Blair, and we offer like up to 65 commission split. So we have these strong like dynamics already set into place. And Brad and I want to carry those on and just adjust them as need be to make it a more enticing offer for everything. So we're working to fine tune those. And, Brad and I are both hungry for business. So
Got
that's
it.
what we want to do.
Excellent. Brad, you want to add to that? Is there particular ideas you have in mind, or things that I know you don't want to give away the playbook, obviously, but still
Right.
anything that you could share would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to give away all the secrets here.
Yeah.
But like Mitch said, mentioning kind of fine tuning some things, we have seen some areas that are a little weaker than others, and we're trying to fine tune those things. Um, and one of the things I think we're doing to kind of push forward and see that success is getting the right people into the right roles.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, we brought Liza Stacks on board,
Hmm.
and she's been phenomenal. She has knocked it out of the park. And you even go more internally. Even we have a couple support team members that we've promoted them to team leads, and they're knocking it out of the park as well, bringing a lot of really good ideas on how we can provide better support to our dealers.
Hmm.
And I think ultimately getting those people in those roles to better that support is just going to help us succeed more by offering that support, offering those services to our dealers. So I'm really excited about that.
All right, it's interesting because it's, as you may expect from a good family-run business, it's about people. It sounds like it's about having talented, good people in the right roles, and I'm hearing that you feel like it's your job to kind of set those people in the right, to find the right people and then have them in the right roles and then put them in a place to succeed is what it sounds like. So, so
Absolutely.
let's go here. So I wanted to ask you this too, kind of about the family-run business aspect. There's our industry's full of family-run businesses. Not many are the size of K&B, but there are a ton of family-run businesses. And I'm curious, just what are some of your tips for running a successful family business? Brad, maybe let's start with you on this one.
Sure, yeah. Um, as maybe as cliche as it sounds, I think just listening to each other and
Okay.
just figuring out a way to work together. I know we've kind of touched on this earlier, in the fact that Mitch and I work so well together. Kurt fits into that as well. The three of us, I talk to people all the time, and they're like, "I can't believe you work with your dad and brother." I'm like, Yeah, we do. And we still vacation together. It's great. So, especially when you're talking about family businesses, finding a way that you can truly work together without overstepping or putting anybody, in the corner or anything like that. I think that really helps and leads to a lot more success.
How about you, Mitch?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off what Brad said, my thing comes down to respect, and I think there's like every level of anyone who touches an order from like the very beginning to in hands of the customer. Every single person demands respect and earns that, and so we like to give it like tons of props and like tons of everything to all of our crew that touches everything. So we've got our team leads, we've got the people underneath them, we've got credit. I think everyone has the same respect, and respect in the industry, I think, gets you very far. So that's where I would say.
Okay, it's interesting stuff. I have kind of a couple more questions for you here, but this one is kind of pulling the lens back, if you will, Bill, if you will, looking beyond K&B to kind of the industry as a whole. Just how do you see us performing as an industry the rest of 2023? Like we keep hearing about these big recession that's going to come, and business seems to keep going, and the economy it may not be chugging, but it seems to keep growing. So I'm curious what you're seeing in the marketplace and how you might think that plays out for K&B and promo more broadly the rest of the year. And Mitch, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, so one thing that runs through my mind is Kaeser and Blair has been around since 1894. So we've seen plagues, we've seen wars, we've seen recessions, we've seen all this. So we've been through it all, and we kind of know that like it's just going to keep chugging along, like you said. And I hate bringing it up, but like back to COVID, we're seeing pre-COVID numbers for us at least, and more and beyond of that. And I think I've been to a couple of the shows recently, and they're like strong. There's tons of attendance, and I think there's tons of ideas out there and new products. And so I think this is just like the gentle push that we need to go further. I think it's just the industry, I think, is healthy. And I think it's gonna go far. Yeah.
Awesome. And Brad, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, to bounce off of that, I do. We are seeing those pre-COVID numbers. The shows look amazing. Every show I go to, I feel like I come away feeling super, super optimistic about where things are going. I mean, you talk to suppliers, you talk to other distributors, other salespeople there, and there's a genuine excitement. There's a lot of people that are wanting promotional products. The suppliers are excited about the stuff that they have coming out. The distributors are happy about getting them into the hands of their customers. I get the sense overall that things are going in the right direction and that customers are still out there. And one of the things that I do when I talk to new dealers that are coming on board, and they're always asking, "Can I really make a living doing this?" And it's like, you absolutely can. Just look around at all the promotional products that you see on a day-to-day basis. And when I start listing them off, they're like, you can almost kind of hear them looking around their office, right? Going, oh my God, you're right. This business is super strong. So I just think seeing those out in the wild, it just gives you a sense of how big this industry is and how well it's doing.
Great. All right. Well, that's definitely like, music to everybody's ears, I'm sure, who's listening to this, that being in the position you are, you're seeing that level of positivity happening. And I know just from some of the research we've done at ASI so far this year, it's kind of so far so good. The first 2 quarters of the year, we grew as an industry, and, the third and the fourth tend to be stronger quarters for us because we're getting into the gifting season. So fingers crossed, everything we're seeing kind of continues apace. I'll just ask you one more question, and that's this. Generational change, leadership change at one of the biggest companies in our industry. What's your kind of final thought takeaway? What do you want people to know in the industry about K&B going forward? And Brad, we can start with you on this one.
Sure. Well, I think it's safe to say that we're not going anywhere. Mitch mentioned we've been around since 1894. We don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. We have just an amazing team behind us, from our leadership team all the way down. We are a family business. We send that sense of family to everybody, including our dealers. And so I think that's what separates us and makes us unique and extra special.
Awesome. And Mitch, how about you?
Right, like ditto to whatever Brad said on that. But on top of it, we like the term kind of like reinventing or honoring the past and reinventing the future. And that's kind of like what we would love to get our message off, is that we're here to like provide the help y'all need, provide whatever you like tools and everything to succeed for to be part of Kaeser Blair. And we're here, we're not going anywhere. And Brad and I, we may have an old company, but we're new and we're ready and we're young and we're ready to make changes and keep it successful. So yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a great place to end. I really appreciate you guys jumping on with me. I think it's very interesting that we have a company like yours, and not only just quote still in our industry, but thriving in the industry and ready to continue to grow. So very cool to see a fourth generation of family leadership at K&B. Mitch, Brad, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks. It's been great.